start. So today's topic is very interesting, and this is what the real-time developers do for Springboot developers do. That is one of the important job profiles of real-time Springboot developers is to maintain the logs. So every activity which you do is logged. Okay, so you have various logs. See, I've written some logs for you at the bottom. So every activity which you do, if a user has tried to log in but has failed, so you log that failed login attempt for user. If he has changed his role, you can say this user has changed role to admin to check how much time that function took to execute. So I would first take the current time milliseconds, call that method, then again call the current time milliseconds. So what is the difference between these two? Means this method took this much time to execute. So I will keep on maintaining logs. So if I see that initially this function was taking 5 seconds to execute, now all of a sudden after 1 month it is taking 50 seconds to execute. Then I have to go and troubleshoot my system as to what is happening behind, why the database response is so slow. So the customers are complaining that the software has become very slow. So how will I check? So I will go and read the logs. As a developer, one of my responsibilities is to read the logs on real time. And then I will come to know, okay, this is the bottleneck. This is where the actual problem is. This method is slowing down. Then I'll go and debug this method as to why this is slowing down. So every activity which we do, we should log it. Okay, so logging will help us monitor the system, debug the system, and maintain the system. So once the software is up and running on the production server, then every activity which the client does generates a log. So if the client raises any concern about the software not performing as per expectation, then the first troubleshooting step as developers will be go and read the logs. Okay, so how to generate the logs and how to understand the logs, we'll do that today. So first thing first, add this dependency. So I copy this over here. Okay. Okay, so let's follow this documentation step by step. So first step is you add this dependency. There are many logging techniques. I'm using log4j. So go to the form XML and add this dependency first. Okay, do a control shift. So export this dependency. Done. Okay. Then second step is now in which format you want the logging. So whenever we run our Spring Boot application, whatever we see on the console are logs. So what should be the pattern of your, so if I have an existing log file, let me show it to you all. See, this is a log file which I have. So here you can see at what date and what time. Okay. So this comes within square brackets. Okay. Then which thread generated that, which package, which class generated this log, of this class, which line number, what was the log info. Okay, the various methods. Was it a warning message? What is the information message? What is some error message? Was it some severe message? This was just normal information, and I passed the information over here. So like this, in real time, lots and lots of logs are generated. So what should be the format of this log? So for that, we'll have to first make a properties file. So we call that as log4j property. So just copy this file name from here. And make a file in your templates. where we have all the other properties file, normal file. Okay. This L, you can keep it capital, small, whatever. And now push, hide all this code inside that properties file. Okay. So we have various types of logging techniques. Okay. Whether you can write the log to various places. Okay. So these are the various techniques in which we can log. You can write the log to the console. You can write the log to the files. So here the logs were written to a particular file. If you see itp.log, and if you start your Spring Boot application, if you start your Spring Boot application in the initial stages, also you see some logs being generated. So where are these logs being generated? On the console, right? So if you see, these are all logs over here, which will start generating now. Yeah, see, these are all logs. Date, time, which method, which thread, okay, which class, and what is the log message. So these logs are being generated on the console. So you can generate the log on the console, on the separate file, and then you can, keep on truncating that file and reuse that file. So all the historical logs, they get copied to another file. So what this happens, this rolling file appender technique, how it works is, I'll show you a small demo so you'll understand as to how this works. So if I have my application, let's say college management system, so I make the file name as CMS log. So if I make it today, 19 February 2025, okay, this is the date on which I started logging the application. So the file which I made will be student college management system dot log. Okay, so the 19 February logs will be generated over here. Let's say 100 logs get generated. Then after midnight, what will happen is all these 100 logs will be moved to a file. All the 100 logs will be copied or rather cut and paste to a file 19 Feb 2023 underscore cms.log. So all the previous day's log has been saved in this file, and this file is now clean. Okay, so truncated, you can say. So now 20th Feb's, okay, so 20th Feb 2025 logs are being generated in this file. After midnight, what will happen? It will make a file by what name? That date. So let's say 200 logs got generated on this day. The date underscore dot log, and we'll copy all the 200 logs in this file, and this will be main file will be truncated. So this is what we call as your rolling file. Okay, so this will be reused again and again, and all the, so you want to copy these logs in these files, so you can define the time duration. So in this properties file, you can define the time duration. So this time duration which I have showed over here, it has some meaning. So if I set that to y hyphen mm, this rollover will happen at the end of every month. So this rollover, okay. So whatever I'm doing over here, this is called as rollover. So this rollover, I was doing it daily, right? After midnight. So if you don't want it daily after midnight, you want it monthly, then you can set the pattern accordingly. So if you set it y, 4 times y, a hyphen and capital mm, this will be monthly. If you say hyphen dd, midnight, rollover will be taken place after every midnight. Okay, if you want it twice after every 12 hours, midday and midnight, so give a hyphen a. If you want it every hourly basis, give a hh. If you want it every minute, hh and mm. And if you want weekly, give it ww. Okay, so the same file will be truncated and the previous logs will be copied to the file with the date. So all this configuration we put in this properties file. Okay, and where you want to save your logs. So this slash is the main directory of my application. So if my application is in D drive, so you go and search for your logs in the D drive, apps folder, logs folder, and whatever name you have to give over here. Okay, so let's say I give CMS, ITP CMS log. Okay, and this is the pattern of your log. So this percentage D is date and time. I've explained that over here. Okay, percentage D within square bracket is the date and time. This percentage T is the thread, percentage C is the class, percentage L is the line. Okay, percentage F is the logger method, and then percentage MN is the actual message which we are displaying. Okay, so these are the pattern of how your logs will be generated. So once this is done, let's go and start generating the logs. So let's go to the student class and make an object. I'm in the controller class. So over here in the controller class, make an object of the logger and import it. Okay, do a control shift O, import it, and we are generating for which class? For student controller. Okay, and I have imported the logger, and always try to import the logger. We're using log4j. Okay, we're using log4j, org Apache log4j logger. So there are many logger classes are there. Make sure you import the correct one. Okay, org Apache logger. See if I remove this and do a control shift O. See what options I have for logger. I have all these. So go for org Apache log4j logger. Now once you have the logger, now at every task you can start your logging. So let's go and log the student created. So save student by request parent. Let's log this. Save student by request body. Okay. So that student's request has come over here. So once this has been, okay, first we'll log that student's request received. Okay. So we'll use the logger object dot info, and then we can say request received to add student, and if you want you can add the student name also. Which student? S1 dot get first name. Okay, so you can say a log will be generated with the information request received to add student and whatever name you are giving to the student. Okay, if an exception has occurred over here, okay, so we will log a warning. Okay, so we'll use the warning method, and unable to add, student this. Okay, so each of the activities you can try generating a your logger message, and once this is done, successfully created, so under try this code will not be reachable. This will be unreachable code if I write it under the try. So we'll write it over here, let's say. Okay, student added. Now we'll take this from here and we'll go to the service and we'll make the logger object over here also. So copy this and paste it. And this is for which class? Student service. Do a control shift O and import the logger. Make sure the logger is imported from, yes, Apache log4j. So once this save is done, we can log over here logger.info. Okay, service method invoked to add student. So now you can properly trace if which part of the application is failing. Okay, so you can keep on logging each of your tasks. एक minute, huh? So if we want to show success, what we can do is then we can take this from here and take it into a student object. Okay, student is okay. So this has, so if I have an object over here means successfully done, right? And we can return this student object, right? So we'll do the same job, and in between this we can log student record added successfully, right? Student added student added. So this would have been a good way. So to once I have the object over here from the service, I'll log it and then I will return the response. So request received, called the student service method, logged that also. Over here also I said so service method invoked. Once it returns, I come back to the controller and see with object over here and then log it. Done. Okay. So and how much time it took to add the student if you want to check that also. So from the moment of receiving the request, okay, so what we can do is as I had shown over here, okay, first let's try to check if these are working. Once I add a dependency, I said always do a project clean, always do a project clean once and done. And now let's try to run the application and see if the logs have been generated. Um, as of now, just generating logs for this endpoint, save student using request body. And my file name in which, why is this file in the templates? It should be in the resources. It should be in the resources, guys. It should be in the properties file, right? So place it in the, not in the templates. It should be in the resources. Remember. So done. So let's, we had opened Swagger yesterday, right? Yeah. Is my screen visible to you all? Yes. So I now hit Swagger. What happened? Hasn't started yet. Is it still starting? UI.html. UI dot H. Didn't I give the HTML? Okay, and now let's try to hit it with save student using request body. Save student using request body. Okay, try it out. This we don't want. Okay, this we can give any name. Okay, human@gmail.com. All good. Let's do execute. Should add me the record. Yes. So it has added the record. And let's go and check for the log files now. So the log files will be in your D drive apps logs. So in your D drive apps logs and ITP-CMS, right click, and it is showing me receive request to add student Shubman, this service method invoked to add student Shubman, student added Shubman. See, all the logs have been generated. Okay, now how much time it took to add if I want to log that also. So how will we do that? So go to the controller and take the timing over here. So for that I had, so what was the long start time? Okay, system dot. So take, okay, let's take it over here. Long start time equals to system dot current time millis, right? Current time millis. So this was your start time. And after I have got the object over here, I will say what? Long end time equals to system dot current time millis. And now I can find the difference between them. So long directly will print it. Chalo, theek hai. Directly will log it. Directly will log added and info student, time taken to add student, time taken to add student would be how much? ET minus ST milliseconds. Okay, let's save this and let's try to now hit, and one more. Let's try to hit one more now. शुभमन की जगह पे आ गया. ठीक है, एग्जीक्यूट करता हूँ मैं. रिकॉर्ड आ गया 5 जायसवाल. वो फाइल में चेंजेस हो गए तो ये फाइल रिफ्रेश हो जाएगी। वो पूछेगा रिफ्रेश करना है क्या, यस। सो देखो कितने लगे भाई, 31, 31 मिली सेकेंड्स लगे वो रिकॉर्ड ऐड करने के लिए। ओके, so and if there was some exception we can log that also, and we can log with the exception message e dot get message। ठीक है, so now let me try to add, and let's fail the addition for some reason। Okay, so let's give a repetitive email। Okay, so take any other name। ठीक है ये सब, और वापस कोई वाई जे कर रहा हूँ मैं, एग्जीक्यूट करता हूँ मैं, तो ये फेल होगा। ठीक है, क्योंकि ईमेल एड्रेस सेम है। तो देखते हैं लॉग में क्या आया होगा, क्योंकि सेव तो नहीं हुआ होगा। यस, अनएबल टू ऐड स्टूडेंट हर्षित could not execute statement duplicate entry in yj email। समझ में आ रहा तुम लोग को गाइस, लॉग्स का क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है। अब आप सिर्फ ये लॉग्स पढ़ोगे, now you'll understand where the actual problem is lying, right? So information log, this is a warning log. What is this? There might be some critical logs also, severe logs. You're running out of memory or payment not successful, something like that. Those are all your severe logs. Okay. So one fine thing, okay, last thing, log4j should be in the, along with all the properties file, right? Not in the templates one. This we missed out in the starting. Okay, making sense now? So try to log all your activities. Okay.